Good evening to the honorable speakers, Mr. Irsad Mekka, Mr. Jose R. Suarez, President of our association, Mr. Arnav Jha, Coordinator HRD Committee, Mr. Ratan Chaudhary, and all the participants. We are going to start today's webinar on employment opportunity in footwear industry within a few minutes. Before that, I want to say a few lines. This event is an initiative of our HRD Committee of Indian Leather Technology Association. The committee has planned to organize series of such programs for the growth and development of leather, footwear, and leather goods industries. After the deliberation is over, Mr. Irshad Mekka and Mr. Suarez will reply to the queries of the participants. All participants are requested to send their question via chat or raise your hand via chat so that he can ask his question during question answer session. Till then, the participants will be kept in mute mode. You may please unmute yourself and at an appropriate time of your turn. In case all questions could not be attended due to limitations of time, you may please send your query by email to our office email ID for onward submission to the honorable speakers for their response. This session will continue for approximately 1 hour. We request all participants to give a patient hearing and help us to complete the event conveniently. You can also participate in Facebook Live for this event. Today on the digital dais, the dignitaries are Mr. Irshad Mekka, Mr. R. Suarez, the honorable speakers, Mr. Jha, honorable president of ILTA, Mr. Ratan Chaudhary, and myself. Now I request Mr. Jha to welcome the participants.
Good evening, Mr. Shushanto Mollik, Mr. Ratan Chaudhary, Coordinator, HRD, Mr. Irshad Mekka, Managing Director and CEO of Farida Group, Mr. Jose R. Suarez, Founder and CEO of Impactiva, both being honorable speakers, members, students, colleagues, friends from industry, and other participants. I on behalf of ILTA, welcome you all to join the webinar titled Future Employment Opportunity in Footwear Industry. India is the second largest producer of footwear after China, accounting 13% of the global footwear production of about 16 billion pairs. Our country produces 2,065 million pairs of different categories of footwear, where share of leather footwear are 100 million pairs of leather shoe upper, and non-leather footwear covers 1,056 million pairs. Thus, the footwear sector is one of the most significant segments of the leather industry in India and considered as prime mover for the growth of the entire leather industry. India exports about 115 million pairs, thus nearly 95% of its production goes to meet its own domestic demand. And India is the third largest footwear consuming country after China and USA, with consumption of nearly 1.66 pair of, while average global consumption is supposed to be 3 pairs per annum. Footwear exported from India are normally dress shoes, casuals, moccasins, sports shoes, Karachi, sandals, ballerinas, boots, chappals, etc. made from leather and rubber, plastic, PVC, etc. In spite of so much export, India's share in the global market is only 2%. We have now nearly 1,500 units engaged in manufacturing footwear with total estimated turnover of approximately rupees 50,000 crores, where 32,000 crores goes for domestic market and 18,000 crores for exports. The footwear industry is now de-reserved, paving the way for expansion of capacities on modern links with the state-of-the-art machinery. To further assist the process, the government has permitted 100% foreign direct investment through the automatic route for the domestic footwear sector. Now at this juncture, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India has established the Development Council for Footwear and Leather Industry, comprising of 25 persons who cover all required corners of the Honorable Mr. Irsad Beka and Mr. Jose R. Suarez with us, and we'll learn about growth and utilization of Indian human resources. Our special thanks to them to spare valuable time for us and agreeing to deliver the lectures. With this, I once again welcome you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Malik.
Thank you, Mr. Jha. You all know, as said by Mr. Jha also, the footwear industry in India is one of the promising industry and highly employment intensive. During last 9 months, due to deadly virus attack, business in all sector has remarkably gone down, and thereby causing loss of jobs of huge number of people. At this critical situation, when we all are expecting a revival of the business in early 2021, there should be an immense opportunity of employment generation in footwear industry. We are fortunate enough to have with us today Mr. Irshad and Mr. Suraj as two eminent speakers who will speak on employment opportunity in footwear industry. Let me introduce Mr. Mekka and Mr. Suraj. Mr. Irshad Mekka, Global Master of Arts, International Affairs, 2018, Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy, Boston, USA. MBA from SDA, Bocconi, Milan, Italy. BA from Tufts University, Boston, USA. Managing Director and CEO of Farida Shoes from 2001 till date. To say a few words about Farida, Farida is a vertically integrated footwear manufacturing company in India, which carries a sales of 335 million. It employs 27,000 people in 16 factories across India. This company awarded Top Indian Exporter Award 13 times in last 16 years by Indian government. This company is a key player in the creation of nationally recognized mega footwear cluster in Ambur, South India. He was also a marketing head for Farida Shoes from 1994 to 2001. He is holding the current positions as Vice President of Indian Shoe Federation, member of Executive Committee of South Indian Footwear Manufacturers Association, the South Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and National Chamber of Commerce. He is the convener, Task Force on Exim, FICCI Tamil Nadu State Council. He is the chairman of CII, Committee on Footwear, Leather Products and Accessories. His social activities are Advisory Board Member, Belur Institute of Technology, Board Member, Chennai International Center, Executive Member, Muslim Education Association of South India, President, Farida Social Service, and Advisory Board Member of Fletcher School. Our second speaker, Mr. Jose R. Suarez, is the founder and CEO of Impactiva. He began his career in textile industry in 1991. By 1999, he founded Leather Exchange, a global marketplace for the world of hides and leather. After selling Leather Exchange in 2003, he purchased the company's quality control division, which served as a foundation for the creation of Impactiva, a leader in the transformation of apparel footwear production chains. In 2018, he founded Vioso, a digital manufacturing platform for the footwear and apparel industry that provides real-time quality, productivity, and speed. Performance data to meet the ever-increasing demand of today's consumers. Vioso's technology platform is powered by Impactiva's 17 years of knowledge, experience, and know-how that created the industry best in class quality and lean process optimization system. Mr. Suraj has a bachelor's degree in operations, research, and master's in industrial engineering from Cornell University. So we have two very good, effective, and acceptable throughout the world speakers. So let us start the speech of both of you. As you think best, you please select your sequence or you can speak together. That is up to you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shushanta. I would like to first start by thanking ILTA, Mr. Arnab Jha, President of ILTA, Mr. Ratan Chaudhary, and you, sir, Mr. Shushanta, and my dear friend, Mr. Jagannathan, who invited me as well to join this panel. We are very fortunate to have with us Mr. Jose Suarez, who is, I believe, an expert in this field in our industry, a forward thinker. So first, I'd like to start off. I'll make a brief presentation, and then Jose and I will share between the two of us this presentation. Yeah, I'm going to just start sharing the screen.
Arshad and the leaders of ILTA, thank you very much for inviting me. India is my second business home. The first time I traveled was 1998. And since then, the core of my two companies are driven by Indian technicians.
So first, I'd like to start off by talking about a macro level. Where we are currently, there are two important forces that have shaped the world. And in specific, before the pandemic, already there was a shift that was happening globally. The shift is the rise of China, and the hegemony that the US had was decreasing, continues to decrease as China starts to become one of the global superpowers and starts to make itself more heard in the global political and economical world. So while this is happening, there was already the costs in China were going up. China is becoming a better, more developed country. So this is happening on one side, and then we had the situation where the COVID pandemic hit us in early this year. So these two events, I think, have shaped and will shape the next generation of our industry, of our children. This is something that we are fortunate to be living in a time when such a major change is going to happen in the whole world, and we have an opportunity to react and to adapt to this change, recognize the change, and to adapt to this change. China, I just want to point out, this year will be the only large state economy with a positive growth this year. Every single economy in the world will shrink except China, which is, I believe, incredible. They will grow at about 3% this year. The second thing that is very obvious to all of us during this period is how, especially when all the companies have recorded losses, have recorded loss of sales, there are only these companies that are gaining momentum and getting stronger and richer. These are the tech companies, Amazon, Microsoft. Even if you take the example of Reliance in our own country, Jio has made a huge impact for Reliance to increase its valuation, and Mr. Mukesh Ambani is now the richest man in Asia. So it's driven by the tech industry is what we are seeing. So these are some large global influences that we need to be aware of. The shift of power from the West to China. Secondly, what the COVID has done, and recognizing that the tech companies and technology's importance in going in the future of our businesses. What is this doing to the consumers, right? There is a completely permanent change in how the consumers are reacting. All of us know, all of us ourselves have increased our online banking, online shopping, working from home, and And this is a consumer behavior change that is going to be permanent. This is not going to go away after the end of the pandemic. There will be a continuous, people have gotten used to this, and this is going to be continuing. Due to the pandemic, what we have seen is factory closures. We've seen that there are factories that have not been able to survive the pandemic. The future looks like it will be only the few best performing factories and the factories that are most innovative that will survive. Due to the pandemic, we have also seen internationally supply chain is shifting away from China. It's going more towards the Indo-Pacific. We are looking at technology being very important, and to the point where retail stores, the large retail stores, Debenhams, a 220-year-old company in the UK, retail store in the UK, went bankrupt twice this year. They went bankrupt, someone put in money into it, and then they went bankrupt again within 7 months of having been saved out of bankruptcy. And you hear this over and over again. J.C. Penney, one of the largest and oldest retail chains in the US, went bankrupt early this year. So there is a shift happening because people like Amazon, online shopping, and distribution is moving away from brick and mortar retail to online. Even though retail is shrinking and we find our current customers going out of business, what we have to recognize is the global footwear industry is planned for growth. We are talking about 5.5% CAGR, and we are looking at by 2027 that the business would probably be $530 billion in size. So that's very positive news to know footwear business is going to continue to grow because the demand for footwear continues to grow. I put this slide up here because I'm very conscious of what happened to the apparel sector. The apparel sector, very similar to our footwear sector, was also a leader in exports, but what we noticed is that between 2000 to 2020 or 2018, the Indian apparel sector lost out to much smaller competitors, Bangladesh, Vietnam, and those competitors have become double the size of India. The fear is, will the same thing happen to footwear? Will the Indian footwear industry also lose out like the apparel industry? That's the concern. So having put that concern on top, what do we see as what is going to be important for the future? It's clear and obvious that one needs to be fast and flexible because of online sales. People expect options, people expect quick service. The requirement on innovation and creativity has gone up, customization, the option of going on Amazon and finding as many styles that you want, you can find, that you don't need to, a company can store as many styles on the net as opposed to having it in a shop. And the other thing is the recognition by the consumer on sustainability, the importance of being environmentally responsible. These are some of the trends that we see as well. Now, this is a great quote that Jack Welch, the former chairman of General Electric, said. And he said that I am convinced that if the rate of change inside the institution is less than the rate of change outside, the end is in sight. The only question is the timing of the end. What this means is, and I believe all of us will agree, that the rate of change that we see outside is the highest level of change that we have ever seen in our lives up to now. Okay, the world has changed from how it was in March 26 or 25, 2020 to what it is today. Now, with that level of change, the question now is on you. Are you ready to change as fast as the world has changed or not? And if you are not, as Jack Welch says, the end is in sight. So that is the first acceptance. We've got to be ready to accept that you've got to change? Friends, I believe the answer is technology, and it is now. I'm very happy and fortunate to be talking to all of you as the Indian Leather Technologists Associations, because I believe that you would appreciate the importance of technology. You're all very learned, and you can recognize how important technology is to the future. But technology, as long as there is a continuous improvement and continuous um, innovation, uh, you're stagnating. So we have to accept that the answer now is technology, and the answer is now. We are fortunate being in India with intelligent, smart people like all our colleagues in India. Mr. Suarez has also confirmed that a large portion of his company he hires are Indian technical people because he believes they are very capable and they are very smart. Uh, 65% of our population is under 35. So we are young, we are ready to embrace technology. How is India prepared to embrace technology? Because we, in terms of just all we have to see is wherever I believe that the opportunity has never been better for India. The path is what needs to be clear. And if the path is just, if we focus on technology and we see how we can go forward, we would be able to move miles. Now, how do we marry technology and the industry together? We have various areas within our business: design, development, productivity, quality, HR, planning, responsible manufacturing. These are all potential areas that are screaming for technology upgrades. And we need to see how and what tools are available out there that we can bring in to our business, and we can upgrade our skills so that we can move not just incrementally, but but have a tectonic shift in terms of capturing the world market. I'll briefly share one area of where I found something incredible was on design and development. This is a new technology that we invested in recently uh, during the COVID period, and it was because the need to the lack of travel for international designers to go from US to India or Europe to India required that we were able to interact with our clients in a virtual way. So so we invested in upgrading our whole software on design development, and this is an example of a product. This is 3D development design that you just take a photo of a shoe, you can plant the photo on any last, it takes the shape, and you can then send it to the client with a library of different materials and colors, and the client can make changes as they want. Now, this is none of this is real. This is just virtual shoes, and they are as good as real in terms of look, because the advancement that we have in technology today, with the option of letting the client decide. Now we've got a croco print in navy here. If you let the customer say, okay, you want ostrich print, you just send him the ostrich print design, and he can place it on the shoe and decide if that's the shoe he wants or what that's the color they want. This is on the design part. Now we've got the expert who's the expert on operational excellence and industrialization, industrial engineering. And I'd like, okay, sorry, before I mention that, what did that do to us? We were able to increase our sample offer 3 times to our customers. We could do it even 5 times because it's all virtual. At the same time, we were able to reduce our sampling cost by 30%. This is exactly what is needed. Your options are increasing and your costs are coming down. Having said that, now I'd like to talk about what I'd like to invite Jose to talk about what digitized industrial manufacturing will be in the future. With Jose's expertise on industrial engineering and operational excellence, I'm sure you'll find this really interesting as well. Thank you. Jose, all to you.
Thanks, Arshad. So the first point that I want to make everybody aware is, and we've lived it in a dramatic fashion this year with COVID, is that disruption is the new normal. Over the last 20 years, we've had 10 major disruptive events, whether it was SARS in 2003, 2001 with the terrorist attacks in the United States, 2003 SARS, 2009 H1N1, 2008 financial crisis, et cetera, et cetera. One of the things that Arshad mentioned is the need to use technology, because the speed and rate at which we have to take decisions has dramatically is dramatically needed because of the disruptions. Every time you have a major disruption, you need to take decisions quickly, not only you as a factory or us as leather technicians or footwear technicians, but also our customers. So one of the important things is, if you use technology, whether you're at a leather tannery, a footwear factory, or an apparel leather factory, it allows you to provide information in real time to your clients so that jointly you can partner up and help your customer turn at a second's notice, which is what happened in February, March, and April when we were hit with COVID. And because the customers did not have visibility to the factories, how many employees were at the factory, what materials were available, what's the order status of my orders, it makes decision-making on a dime much, much more difficult. So we need technology not only to become industrial manufacturers in India, like we have seen in China and Taiwan, but also to be able to turn on a dime when we get hit with these disruptions that are not normal. Next. So what we did is, Impactiva was established in 2003, and in 2018, my partners and I decided that it was time to build a digital platform that would transform the shop floor of our industry. And also with our Learn platform, which we will be launching in January, provide free education to the artisans. We call the workers in the industry artisans and technicians like all of you, to be able to, as Arshad said, it's about continuous education, continuous improvement. So we're Vaeso Live is our digital shop floor platform. Supply is our audit platform that we will be launching in the summer. And Learn is, I recommend that you go. It's learn.vaesolearn.com, and you'll be able to access courses for free as we continue to build our library, and that will be available in 8 or 9 languages. Next. So one of the things about change and transformation that we have learned on the Impactiva side, and now we're applying with our digital platform Vaeso Live, is that it's all about how to build a rapid improvement culture. And the way you build an improvement culture is by creating new behaviors that become habits, that bring about the values that I show you below: discipline, accountability, transparency of information, and use data to take decisions, experiment and learn. That means run as many experiments as a technologist, and positive energy. And if you do this, you start building a culture, and it's self-sustainable, which is around systems, processes, and procedures. And by building more robust systems and processes and procedures, you can start industrializing your factories so that you can build them up and become as big and take the opportunity that we now have in India to become an even more important footwear player, as many brands and retailers are trying to move out of China. But it's all about hiring good people, giving them continuous education, and building and using systems, processes, and procedures to build a rapid improvement culture. And if you don't do that, then what's going to happen is what Jack Welch said: you're going to be left behind, and you're going to be very difficult to compete and even survive in today's fast changing world. Next. So here, one of the things that we have done with Vaeso Live is a shop floor platform that's using RFID technology to track the product, whether it's a single unit or a bundle, as it moves from cutting through stitching to finishing or final assembly. And because you're capturing the data on cycle times and immediate input by the quality control guardians, or in the future, the artisans directly will have a tablet and they input defect data, you are error proofing, you're working in real time, you're getting real data, not fudge data. And that results in a tremendous improvement in productivity. Next. So here's some of the tablets. These are RFID enabled tablets. Every single bundle or piece has an RFID card, which gets automatically read by a tablet at a range of 20 to 30 centimeters, avoiding extra hand, arm, or body movement by the artisan, so that it automatically detects the cycle time as you read one tag and another. The difference between one tag and another is the cycle time. So now the artisans, the quality control guardians, the supervisor, and middle management get real-time feedback on cycle time and hourly output, so that next, if they have any issues, they can react immediately. And this is the result of, from September 1st, we installed Vaeso. It went live in Farida, and in the 10-week period until mid-November, these were the incredible improvements in pairs per operator per hour productivity in Farida because of the RFID technology. Next. And the other thing is quality. As you're capturing data and you can see the screen, there's a list of defect codes. So in this case, a quality control guardian in the assembly line is inspecting the shoes. They find the defect, they just click on the defect, and now you're capturing defect occurrence in real time. And then the supervisors can perform root cause analysis, corrective action plan, and verification of the plan. And most importantly, the most important thing, you are actively engaging the hearts and minds of the workers that we call artisans and the middle management in real-time improvement and transformation. So here's the dashboards that we have in every cell, whether it's cutting, stitching, lasting, sole attaching, or finishing, or the final AQL station. You're getting real time on the top left output per hour and day, and on the right defects per hour and per day, and then the top defects on the bottom. And this is what the supervisors use to automatically analyze what is happening on the shop floor and try to improve it in real time, instead of waiting for a 1,000 or 5,000 pairs to be rejected by a brand or retailer that's inspecting the shoes after they're produced. And the improvement is also dramatic in first time quality, 30%, and recuts and replacements has dropped by 47% in this 10-week period. So this all impacts and makes planning, because when you produce right the first time, you're hitting your output, whether it's 90, 100, 120 units per hour. And it also facilitates it, because every single purchase order line item is linked to a product family, and then you can schedule by product family your different 1, 2, or 3, or 4 production lines, and that reduces the learning curve of an artisan when you're shifting from one style to the other if you keep it on the same product family. You also collect time on quick changeover and rapid ramp ups so that you can start focusing. As Urshad said, we're moving to a world where 5 or 10,000 purchase orders, 10,000 pair purchase orders are dwindling, and it's starting to become 1,800 or 500. And in that atmosphere, you have to become incredibly fast at changeover. So the platform allows you to measure the changeover time, and then you can focus on reducing that. As the famous Deming once said, he was the father of lean in Japan in the 1950s. You cannot improve what you don't measure. And a digital platform allows you to measure a multiple series of KPIs, whether it's productivity, speed, quality. And once you know the data, then you can start working to continuously improve. And this is the improvement in delivery in full on time has increased by 10%, and capacity utilization by 15%, because you're using the same resources. You've dropped your inline rework by 30%, so your output goes up dramatically with the same resources. Give it over to you. So this comes back to what Urshad was saying. With a digital platform connected, you start not only managing your design and development, but your productivity, your quality, responsible manufacturing, because you're eliminating waste, as in lean, the 8 lean waste. Your planning improves, even your HR, because now you can, with cameras on tablets, understand when people arrive, and you can also, in the future, give real-time compensation. An artisan down the road is going to be able to see how much they've made on an hourly, daily, weekly basis, and your entire payroll will be calculated based on not only their performance on quality and cycle times, but team performance and factory performance, and that even impacts the HR function.
Thank you. Thank you, Jose. See, basically, I think the idea here was, when we look at the future opportunity for our industry, the opportunity for employment is through technology. That's where the highest value is. So we've got to learn to embrace technology. We've got to learn to look for what, be selective of the technology. What we found was certain criteria that were very important in what attracted us to some of our investments in technology was look for user-friendly technology. There have been some investments we have made in the past that we are not very proud of, because we bought technology for the sake of technology, and some of those machines are currently good dining tables in our factories because they haven't worked as in Indian conditions. They have not been user friendly. If they break down, we need someone to fly in from the US or someone to come in from Europe to fix it, and those haven't worked. So our selective criteria at this point was, which are the user friendly technologies that we could use. With this technology, are we able to get real-time data visibility anytime, anywhere? This is, in this COVID world, we currently are I'm sitting at home. I visit for almost 6 to 7 months. I wasn't even able to visit the factory, but we ran our factories by controlling them remotely. We were having real-time data available. It was reliable data. It wasn't fabricated data, so you could take decisions with those kind of data and being on top of the information. The next thing is, okay, all this technology, but what is it going to cost us? If this technology costs us too much, then it is out of our reach and it is not practical. And that was the other third criteria that we were very selective of, and we said we won't invest in technology that's going to break our back or our bank account. We were very, very insistent that we would look for technology that is more democratic, that would be easy to adopt in all our factories if it's successful based on its success. So the cost of technology, that it doesn't have a high initial investment, that it requires, that it's on a user pay model. These were certain criteria that we looked for, and these are all technologies that are currently available. And the reason why I'm so happy and we are lucky to have Mr. Suarez Jose join this and present his technology is because I found that this is perhaps the most refreshing answer for our industry's future. We in India are lucky to have, being technology savvy. We have educated people, the smartest people in the world, I believe. And it's just that they need the right tools to make their productivity multiply. And if you give them the right tools, like how we've seen a company like TCS is one of the most valuable companies, whether it is Infosys, these are all companies that make us proud. And if we can merge what we know in our industry with the talent that we have, with the technology that we have available today to us, I believe this would be the answer for the growth of our industry. And the timing is today. The timing is today because there is a change. You don't need to sit and convince anyone that they need to change. The change is obvious all around us, and we need to now accept it and invest in it, change in our minds, and take the step forward. So, having said that, I'll leave you with the last quote. In the midst of every crisis lies great opportunity, and it's our sincere belief, Jose's and mine, that in this crisis, the Indian footwear industry has a great opportunity to get on that bus and be a leader in the global manufacturing side, provided we get on the right bus, the one that says technology. Otherwise, we may miss the bus one more time. Thank you very much.
If I can just add to what you just said, the talent in India in our industry is beyond incredible. I proved it with Impactiva for 17 years. And let's take advantage of technology so that we don't have what happened with Indian apparel. There's a huge opportunity to take market share away from China. It's just sitting for the taking. So we have to use the talent. We have to become industrialized like the Chinese and Taiwanese did 20 years ago. And we can do that with technology to turn India into the next much larger powerhouse for the footwear industry. I am totally convinced of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jose. Mr. Sushanta, if there are any questions, we'd be happy to.
Yes. Thanks a lot, Mr. Irshad and Mr. Swaraj, for your deliberation, which are extremely informative. Now we are going to start the question answer session. The participants who are interested, please unmute yourself and you may ask the question.
I am Jivan Das Gupta speaking. Mr. Irshad, I have a short question to you. Before that, I am informing you that every year, Farida Footwear used to recruit 3 to 4 students from our Government College of Engineering and Leather Technology. The boys are passing 2 years advanced footwear leather goods course. As a on behalf of Alumni Association, Government College of Engineering and Leather Technology, it is our good luck that India's #1 footwear manufacturing company is very much interested about our GCLT student. I am sharing my gratitude to you. My question, or you may say my request to you, can you recruit at least 6 to 7 students from our GCLT? They are joining as a trainee, but it is our good luck that you are recruiting them as per their activities. And they are very much interested about this company. About our actually our Arijit Chakraborty and Mr. Buddhadev Sinha of GCLT, they are looking after this recruitment. Anyhow,
Mr.
it is
Dasgupta, your
my
question is
request.
clear.
It is my request that if Farida can do that, we will be glad.
We have a program where we regularly hire students who are passing out of these institutes, and then we put them through training. Fortunately, also we have now got a facility that we have opened out, a factory that we have started in Kolkata called Nadia Shoes. That facility is also now operational. So definitely we will please get in touch with our HR department, and they will appraise the team on what policies are for hiring graduates and putting them through management training.
Mr. Esar, for your information, I am actually this year also 4 students are going to your Farida Chennai, and they have given interview in our Calcutta office. But anyhow, this is my request because I know Farida is the #1 footwear company in India. So you please think over it.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Dasgupta, he has told that he will consult with the HR department.
विशाल साहब, मेरा एक प्रपोजल है. मैं भी यहाँ के कॉलेज के स्टूडेंट्स हूँ, एंड आई वाज अ प्रोफेसर इन NIFT. तो मेरा
Yes.
एक प्रपोजल है इरशाद साहब के लिए. आर यू एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड हिंदी, इरशाद साहब?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, मेरा एक proposal हुआ है. I'm not for employment. I'm telling, is there anything which can be done on regular basis that CLT students, those who are getting, but in every technical college, in NIPT also, we have an internship course, right? So our college footwear students in every year, suppose you accommodate at least for 1 month or 2 month footwear training for 5 students or 10 students. Like this, we can accommodate, suppose you accommodate 5 or 10, we can accommodate other people in other factory 5 or 10. So the whole batch get a training of 1 month or 2 months, at least the first 10 training in footwear. So and on a regular basis, so that the people are getting good theory and practical, but they will get exposure to the actual factory working environment and working. That's all.
Yes, sir. No, we have active programs for with many institutes across the country. I'm not sure which specific ones get to send how many students, but at any point of time, we have close to 20 to 25 graduates who join the program for management training. So we do have this program. I request you to get in touch with our HR, and they will guide you.
Okay, on behalf of our college CLT, we can send the proposal to you.
So we have to send the proposal to the HR department. Sir, I have a.
Hello, can I speak now? I have a question,
Yes.
please. I just wanted to ask, because as Mr. Suresh was telling about the implementation of technology. So who are the consultant for that? Whom should we approach for, say, on our workshop and other places? We wanted to implement Industry 4.0. Whom should we approach? Who are the consultant for these?
Yes.
Who is asking the question, please?
Yes, I'll send you my email in the chat. If you check the chat, I'm typing in my email and you can just reach out to me. And I will forward it to somebody in our company to help you and assist you. Okay. jsuarez@vaeso.com. And also you can reach out to Amit Gupta, who is based in India, and he will for sure assist you in any information you require.
I think we have Abdul Wahab with his hand up as well for a question.
Yeah. Yes, you can ask.
Hi, Mr. Shad. Good evening.
How are you?
I'm fine. It was an excellent presentation from both of you. I was very much looking forward to hear from you. My question would be to either of you. This VASO technology which you have discussed with me also, is that applicable apart from shoes to leather goods industry? If Mr. Jose can say whether he has given this thing working to any other leather goods industry, that would be helpful. So we can also have a look at it.
Sorry, can you repeat if what?
His question was whether it has been used in the leather goods industry.
Right now it's in footwear. We are launching apparel in April. And by the end of the year, early next year, we will have leather goods. I imagine you're talking about handbags, wallets, etc.
Yeah, wallets, handbags, and belts.
Yeah, the platform is product agnostic. So it just needs a bit of tweaking, but we have to go at a step at a time. So yes, there should be no reason why it can't be adapted to the and used for the leather goods. But I think we'll have it end of the year or first quarter. So if you reach out to us, we'll keep you up to date on when we have it.
Okay. One more thing, Mr. Ishad. Does this sits in our in-house ERP itself, or this has a separate platform and it's not interrelated? It cannot be connected.
Good question. We found that there is a lot of data that gets collected in this particular software with VAESO, and we had to tweak our ERP to capture the data, but they give us almost all that information in the tablet. The need for us to link it to our ERP was very little. And we just because the data that was required, 90% of that was provided by VAESO themselves. So it's very user friendly. So almost our ERP was not good enough or user friendly enough as the VAESO was.
Got it. Thank you very much. I'm done.
I mean, the purchase order and work order information comes from the ERP. You can create the work order on our system, or you can upload it from an ERP or send it out to a flat file and then upload into the system. It's very, very easy, user friendly. It's almost like picking up the smartphone and understanding how to use it.
Okay. Thank you, sir. We'll be in touch. I'm done.
Any other question?
Mr. Chair, this is Sriram, Director CLRI. One question.
I have a question, sir.
Mr. Sriram.
One question which people keep asking.
Mr. Sriram, sir, Director CLRI.
Okay, Dr. Sriram.
Yeah. One question which people keep asking us is, when we shift into such systems, will the employment come down? or is the employment in the factories going to remain the same and the productivity is going up?
Sir, a good, great question. Definitely, there is no reduction in employment. It is empowerment of employment. That is what we found. When you provide the data to our employees and empower them to take those decisions, now that they are motivated, they know what they're doing, they know they are being measured, so they feel there is worth in their actions and they are conscious of that. They like that recognition, and we found that the overall motivation in the factory is much higher than it was prior, because they feel empowered, they know the difference they are making, they know the good and the bad, so your communication improves with your workforce because you've got actual real-time data to present and they are creating it with you.
And
So
may
then,
I add, Urshad, that as you improve productivity and significantly improve productivity and quality, you are becoming exponentially more competitive. And as Urshad showed, there is going to be a huge consolidation of factories in our industry. And only those that are lowering their costs and dramatically improving quality. Remember, we've gone from 15% of product being shipped to people's homes to 30, 35, or 40%, even in the Nikes of the world in 6 months. The quality required now is a game changer. So those factors improve quality and improve productivity so that at least they can keep up with inflation or even beat inflation, are going to be able to sell a lot more with the same labor and overhead. So the bottom line results are tremendous. You want to keep your talent, empower them, and then sell a lot more because you're going to be so much more competitive. And the industry is going to need capacity because of the departure of many factories. So this is like a triple whammy.
Thank you, Mr. Irshad and Mr. Suresh. I have the same question, that that this time people are really in a uncertainty in life due to unemployment and other distress. So our concern is how you can, as an expert of this industry, how you can see the future for the employment opportunity in footwear industry. The same question, if you just reply in a little bit elaborately.
Uh, Sir, I believe the companies that make the right choice in terms of investment in technology, in terms of the right investment in product development, and in terms of the process, the right investments in the process systems, are going to see significant growth. They are going to see significant growth, multiple growth. And we don't have capacity currently to meet those growths. And this, therefore, will create large opportunities for employment. However, it is a little different type of employment that we will need going forward, not the same that we had in the past. We need people with a mindset to change, with the people
Yes.
who are willing to embrace technology, who are looking for innovation, who are looking, it's a different mindset. It's almost like you've had COVID and you should have matured by many years post COVID. If you haven't and you're still the same as pre COVID and you expect life to be the same as pre COVID, then you're not the right person for the job.
Yes.
So that is what we feel. And there is opportunity for the right mindset.
And I agree
Absolutely.
with Urshad. For all of you leather footwear technicians out there, what Urshad said is your roadmap to personal growth. It's about embracing technology and talking to the leadership of your factories and convince them that they have to change. You guys have incredible power. You are the engine of the factories of the footwear industry in India. You have to be proactive. The days of being passive and just sitting back and going to work 8 to 5 are no longer there. You have to want, as Urshad said, to transform your environment, yourself and your environment, whether it's your cutting department, your stitching, whatever it may be. And you have the power to pressure and discuss with your ownership that there is a huge opportunity for them. They have to embrace it because there's market share that is moving away from China. And sir, if we transform ourselves with technology, we can really grow. And we're not talking, Ursha and I aren't talking about 3-5% growth. You're talking about 10, 15, 20% growth a year. And it's all about us speaking to our owners and getting them to understand this seismic tsunamic shift that has happened. And they have basically a 12, 24-month window to jump in and grab this opportunity. But you guys have to start to change.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Any other question? So if you have any other question, please send it my email. Mr. Ayesha Syed Liaquat, please ask your question. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much. And good evening, sir. Good evening to both. It was actually, I'm very glad to join this meeting. It was a very useful and informative one. Myself, Aisha. So, my question is to Irshad, sir.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum, Aisha.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. Wa alaikum assalam. So my question is, I'm undergoing my MBA graduate, sir, in HR management. So what will be the future opportunities for non-technical graduates in leather industry? May I know?
When you say non-technical, everything is technology today. I don't know what is non-technical today because
No, sir. Like in arts and science, we would not be knowing, na, sir. Like
if you've got a smartphone in your hand, you're
yeah.
technology in your hand.
Yes.
That's all it is. All of us are living technology today. HR can you can revolutionize HR with technology, right? I'll give you a small example, just a small thing which did not cost much. Earlier, the way of taking attendance in the factory was, finger biometrics, right? We moved to facial recognition a year back or 2 years back. During COVID, for us, the fact that if you had finger bioprinting, that would have a risk. Whereas facial recognition, we did not have any to change anything. The workers walked in, no touch, distance, everything was simple and easy. That's a small idea with technology within HR that saved us, right? We were able to talk to all our employees, and you're talking about, like, we are talking about, I don't know, 26,000 employees we were able to reach during COVID times, almost every one of them, to inquire their health and check on them during. This is all technology. So technology is there. It's how you use it, whether it is arts or whether it is HR, whatever you want. It's there for you to use. So be confident that, whatever you specialize in, you link it with technology, and then you can score multiples. Okay.
And I would add to that, Ayesha, HR, like Urshad said, recruiting, learning programs, recruiting. You're going to be recruiting technologists. You have to learn about technology. So it's a whole open world. How do you write a job profile for a software engineer or an engineer that understands technology, understands data? The factories are going to have data engineers to understand data and be able to provide analysis and find root causes. So it's a whole world out there that you have to learn, and you don't have to be, having come from an engineering school or CLRI or FTDI or whatever. just the whole, just think about processes. Processes at the end up with technology. So what are your processes in HR for recruiting, for succession planning, for continuous improvement, for learning? Are you using digital learning? You know, you don't need a professor anymore. Can you find outsourced companies are generated internally to create e-learning online that you can have your 25,000 employees take courses and elevate their knowledge? It's the whole world out there, and you just have to think out of the box, as Urshad said. Think about processes and think about how to use technology out there. And there's so much open source platforms that you can do so much in HR that are free or very low cost that you can use to transform your department.
Sir, like what is the viability of textile, clothing, leather and footwear industry is unraveling as workers are set to stay at home, factories are closing and globally supply chains is green to hot. The cancellation of orders had hit thousands of firms and millions of workers particularly hard. So what are the opportunities in the future one in employment in other industry?
Mr. Tazim, basically people are still wearing clothes and shoes and they will continue to do that for a long time. So we are in the industry that we don't need to worry that there's going to be a shortfall. But you've got to decide which category, you've got to study that, right? If you're going to make black dress shoes that you wear to work, that is a shrinking part of the business. You don't want to sit and say, I will not change, I will only make black dress shoes, or I will, and then complain that the business is not there. That's the whole point here, is how much are we willing to change? That's the whole point. If we are willing to change, the market is there. We showed you a graph that says that the footwear industry is going to grow at 5.5% year on year. It's going to become $500 billion. How much are we willing to take of that, of that business? How much are we willing to change to take that business? That's the point. That's all there is. It is in us. If we are the only ones to blame, if we end up having to say that the future is bad, it's only because we are not willing to change.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So what I understood in short, that our attitude to adopt the changes in future can create employment opportunity. Anyway, our association, has a plan to organize many more programs on knowledge building, growth, development of leather and its allied industries. In doing so, we will be requiring your kind support and guidance. So please extend your cooperation in future as well. I am saying to both of the honorable speakers. We will also be grateful if both of you can give us your lecture in a printable format so that we can publish in our journal, JILTA, that is a 70 years old technical journal with wide circulation in India and abroad. The request we can keep with you. Now, if you have a time and if you can give us in printable format, we'll be grateful. Now, I request our coordinator HRD committee, Mr. Ratan Chaudhary, to deliver his vote of thanks. Thank you very much.
Good evening. Here is Ratan Chaudhary, coordinator of HR. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Respected President, honorable speakers, General Secretary, and all the participants present today. First of all, on behalf of my association and our HR team, like to express my heartiest thanks to honorable speakers who shared their valuable experience and knowledge to us by spending their valuable time. Thanks also given to our Vice President, Dr. Siram, Director of CSR Leather, and Mr. Jagannathan, President, Southern India. We hope that coming year, we will do a lot of interesting and informative webinars Your support and cooperation will be required like this time. Lastly, before ending my talk, I will request both the speaker to send their talk in test format so that we can publish it in the Jilta, our 70 years old publication in monthly basis. And with this, I wind my talk and ending the today webinar. Good night.
Thank you, Mr. Irsad, Mr. Suraj, Dr. Sriram, Dr. Jagannathan, Dr. Rajamani. Thank you very much.